All right. All right. Well, we have 9 people so far, but people always come in late.
Okay.
So Anna, this is your last show with us, and I'm so sad.
I know, I know. Well, you know
Thank
what?
you
I've
so
always
much
said
for
it.
doing this.
I loved it, and I can't wait for more in-person things. It seems that's the way things are trending, especially here in Connecticut. So we can absolutely talk about some in-person things once the library is ready for that. But just to get started, so if you've been to the classes before, you know. If you have not, just to let you know, my name is Anna Gass. This is my cookbook, Heirloom Kitchen. I ran around the country cooking with immigrant grandmothers to get those recipes that they had in their head and in their hearts, but they just never wrote down. So this is a perfect example of that. This recipe comes from Bea Trafunik. She actually lives in New Canaan, surprisingly. So I met her at an international women's event, and we got to cooking together, and she taught me how to make this amazing Danish. So here it is in the book, beautifully photographed by Andrew Scrivani. And as you can see, it looks very ornate, complicated, fancy, any way you want to really think about it, but it actually isn't. So I'm going to show you how to make it. Now, of course, the first thing that you're going to do is make a dough. I made the dough ahead of time because it does need to rest. I want to spend most of the time showing you how to actually make the Danish braid. But let me just run through it really quick. The recipe calls for half AP flour and half bread flour, because at the end of the day, this is really a filled bread. So, you know, bread flour is going to provide you with that gluten. It's going to provide you with exactly what you need to get that sturdy, you know, bread feeling to this. And it also is going to help hold up that very filling, heavy filling. So that's the dough. The dough also has quite a bit of butter. It has a stick and 3/4. What's nice about that is not only the delicious taste and smell that will fill your kitchen, it also provides for a very soft and supple dough. So I'm telling you, you put this in your mixer or your Cuisinart. I mean, actually, I've never done it in the food processor, but I'm sure it would be just fine. And sorry about that.
Oh,
did you lose me?
no, I still see you.
That was odd. I put a do not disturb on my phone, but for some reason it blocked my screen. Anyway, apologize about that. So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So yeah, so we're making
You were
this
talking
dough.
about having very sturdy dough.
Yes, with a sturdy dough, it's going to rest for 30 minutes. That's going to help the butter harden, because when you put this in the food processor or the mixer, it's going to come together really quick, really easily. But unfortunately, it's also very, very soft. And what you need is for the dough to get a little bit more hard so you can work it and make the beautiful braid. So half an hour in the fridge, that's all it needs. Don't put it in much longer, because then it starts to get really stiff and you're going to have to let it sit out for a little bit. All right, so we have that. Now, let's talk about the filling. Also very easy, and you can make it while your dough is resting. So the filling, there's 2 kinds in the book, actually, a savory and a sweet. They're both very traditional for Serbia, very Eastern European. The sweet one is a walnut and sugar paste. It's delicious. The dough, you just put a little bit of sugar in the dough. That's the only alteration that you make to the dough, and you do the exact same process. The other thing I really want to tell everyone here is, once you learn this process and this dough, you can do anything. I've done other sort of sweets. I had a follower on Instagram told me that she did a spinach and feta. So you can really go crazy once you know this process and do whatever filling you want. Bea's filling has—
Anna, just a quick question. So can you also put in fruits as well with this?
Yes, you can. You could, like I said, you know, obviously, if you do any sort of fruit, you're going to want to make sure it's not frozen, that it's defrosted or fresh, you know, because you don't want anything too wet. You want something that's together. What I think would be delicious in this is like a cream cheese cherry, you know, where you're incorporating some sort of cheese to kind of hold it all together, or apple. I mean, the variations are endless. For Bea, again, very Eastern European, you're going to use farmer's cheese. You might say, oh no, I've never seen this. It's in Acme, Walter Stewart's, every major grocery store has this. The brand that I always see is Friendship. It's right here. And this is what I would call a very, very tight, dried out cottage cheese. That's the most similar cheese I can liken it to. And my husband's grandmother is Jewish, and she uses farmer's cheese for her blintzes. So anytime you want to have a breading or some sort of like wrap outside, farmer's cheese is great because it's so low moisture. So you could sub out cottage cheese. That wouldn't be a problem. The only thing I would do is strain it overnight, just to try to get any of that extra moisture out. I do the same thing with ricotta. If you want to do like a pesto ricotta filling, which would be delicious, kind of Italianize it, I would just dry them out because that's what the farmer cheese provides. Now, to this farmer's cheese, I just added a little salt, some sour cream, an egg, and dill. Lots and lots of dill. So fresh dill, get at your local grocery store, take it off the stem, right? And chop it up. And you're going to use a whole bunch of dill, which is about 2 cups.
Anna,
I wouldn't bother measuring it.
Can you get away with using dry dill, Anna?
You absolutely can. I mean, again, you're going to make this your own. I think that the fresh dill adds so much flavor. But no, like, I will be honest with you, I actually almost ended up using dry dill today because I went to 3 grocery stores and everyone was out of dill. So absolutely, always find ways to get where you want to go. You don't ever have to follow things direct. I think I've said this before on this program, and I say it all the time to anyone that buys my book, or really any cookbook. Open it up, find the recipes that inspire you and make them, but then make them your own. You know, let's say, you know, I just had someone email me this morning about the eggplant patties in my book. She said, you know, I'm a vegetarian. This is a great vegetarian option, but vegetarians can't eat Parmesan cheese. Omit it, take it out, you know? So, you know, you can always make things your own. I'm not, you know, there's no recipe police, I promise. All right, now enough talking. I want to get to making this Danish. It's not difficult to do, but it's something that I really want to show you how to do. So what I said to Laura is that you're going to lose me and you're going to see this dough. What I just need to do is flip my camera. All right, guys, here we are, right? Sorry, it's just, everybody could just have a little patience because I want to make it right and I want it so that you can see what I'm doing. So I even have a little stand for my tripod so that we can really get this to the point. No, actually, maybe it's better without. I want it nice and close. How does that look to you, Laura?
That's good. It's good. I see it.
All right. So the first thing is a little trick that I'm going to give you. I always have a kitchen ruler. Love this kitchen ruler. It actually also pulls back your racks when you need it in your oven. Now, what I tell you to do is 9 by 13. Now you're working with a soft dough. Nothing's going to be perfect, but how do I make that in my mind visually as easy as possible? So I have it on parchment, and you should always start this on parchment because you don't want to have to move this dough after you fill it. Not going to happen. So what I did was I measured 9 by 13, and then I just creased my paper, right? So I can see where my 9 by 13 is. So I don't have to keep measuring back and forth. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll this out. Laura, if there's any questions while I'm doing this, just shout them out. I'm still here. You can see my hands.
So I know a lot of people will be asking, where did you get that kitchen ruler?
Amazon.
Amazon. All right. Thank you.
I have to say though, that particular one I have had for years. I always thought it was really cute that it had that thing to pull the rack. You know, just any kitchen ruler will do. When I can't find it, I've been known to use my kids', school ruler. And the thing is, obviously you can eyeball things, right? But the reason I really try to stick to the 9 by 13 is because I know my dough is the thinness that I like. Now, as far as that goes, when I made my dough, when you make this dough, this recipe actually makes 3 Danish. Now, the reason I love that is this Danish freezes beautifully. Once you're done making it, wrap it up, a little bit of saran wrap, some tin foil, mark it so you know what it is, and throw it in the freezer. I have been known to pull this out at any time someone says they're gonna come over for some coffee, bam, I throw it in the oven from frozen, 35 minutes later, I have a delicious Danish to put out. Or you're going to a friend's house or a coffee, pop it in the oven, and you can have it cooking while you're getting ready to go. This thing is amazing. So when you make the dough though, okay, you're gonna have.
So Anna, let me just interject and just talk to the attendees. If anybody does have questions, you can just put them right into the chat and I'll be able to see them and then relay them to Anna. So please, if you have any questions, the chat is at the bottom of your screen. Just click on that and you'll see a thing come up to the right of your screen and you'll be able to write down, type in your questions. So I just wanted to let people know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you're gonna have a dough that, I also use my ruler actually to just start making that clean line as I'm going out. So you're gonna have 3. So what you do is, if you have a weight, which you can always eyeball it, but I prefer to use the kitchen weight. I have one right here, okay? I will put this, I'll put it on there, the whole dough, and then I divide by 3. Then I re-measure them to make sure that I have 3 equal doughs, because you don't want to get to your last dough and not have enough. All right, so as you see, I'm just pushing out this dough to create myself a beautiful rectangle. And again, you'll see that when we go ahead and make the Danish, the closer I get this to a rectangle, the easier it's going to be for me later. So I'm just pushing out this dough just like this. All right, get to the end over here. This side looks like I'm almost there. Now I'm going to focus on this side.
Anna, a question from an attendee from Kathleen is there a dish with a lip under the parchment?
No, I just have a piece of granite, marble.
So maybe she didn't notice it earlier. You had made you had scored the paper to the size that you want.
Yes, well, I just folded the paper to make a 13, and then I folded it here to make a 9. See? And now I'm going right to the edge, all right, over here, to fill in these areas to get my 9 by 13. So no, I don't have anything with a lip. I want this to be as flat as possible so I can, and I don't know if you can tell on the video, but this dough is just so supple. It's like Play-Doh. You really can massage it exactly the way you need to get the corners done.
The question, Anna, is about the thickness of the dough. Is it to be fairly on the thin side or thick side, or?
It's going to be thin. It's going to be thin. As you can see, as I'm getting this to the corners, it's getting thinner and thinner. And that's another reason why really trying to get to that 9 by 13 is a good idea, because then you know that you have a thin dough, because you're going to be putting the dough on top of itself. So you really don't want it to be so thick, because then your filling will just get lost, right? You're not going to be able to really taste your filling. You're just going to taste a whole bunch of bread. Oops, this guy flipped over, flipping back over. And the parchment really, really helps. So I'm just kind of using my kitchen ruler as a guide, as a help. All right, so I'm pretty much where I want to be here, right? Really, really liking the way this is looking. Maybe just push that a little bit out if I just want to be a little bit of a perfectionist. Get it going all the way to the end. Make sure I don't have any holes, but this dough is so soft, it doesn't even really tear on. All right, I like the way this looks. Now, gonna get our kitchen ruler out again. So once I have my 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I'm gonna make, and I use the back of a butter knife. Don't use a knife because we're just scoring right now. We are not cutting. Can you see those 2 scores, Laura? Hello?
Hi, sorry, I mute myself so I don't make, if I have background noise. Yes, I do see the scores, 2 of them.
Great. So now, just making some lines here, as you can see. All right. All right. So now I have 3 quadrants. This is going to be my braid. This is going to be my filling. Okay. So now we are going to do some cutting. Get a sharp paring knife, and we're going to start cutting our way down. Now, you can eyeball it. You can get really, really technical here and actually make yourself, let's make a guide just to help everybody out here. So I'm just going to make a little, what I'm going to do, every inch, I'm just going to make a little line. Just so I know, every half inch, I'm sorry, every half inch, I'm going to make a little line just to give myself a bit of a guide going down. I don't usually do this just because I've done it so many times, but now I kind of have a tick off of a line, right? And now we're going to get going. So I'm going to start at my first line and I'm going to make a cut. And I'm just going to keep using that guide. How are we doing? Can we all see this?
I'm seeing everything very beautifully. I noticed that your knife is about ½ an inch from the line.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So now we just made a whole bunch of cuts, not scores, actual cuts down the line. And I'm going to do that again on this side. All right. Just going to eyeball this side because I have my other side to help me. I'm going to move, not much of a lefty, so I'm actually going to move over here. And I'm just going down. And I mean, this isn't perfect, but the other great thing about this is even when I first started making this and I wasn't really good at it, the baking process hides so many sins. So you really don't even have to stress out. Okay, now I'm not going to do anything else until I get my baking sheet. Because, like I said, you do not want to move this once it's filled. So now I have it on my baking sheet. All right, I'm not going to have to move this. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to fill it up. We got our beautiful filling. Start at the top. And I know I'm not going to make a mistake now and put too much filling in one spot because I scored it. So I know exactly what I'm doing here. And the thing about the filling too, same thing. You're going to make one big bowl of filling and then 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So by the end of this, you're going to have 3 beautiful Danish and all of your ingredients are used up. How's that look?
Beautiful.
All right, now, final part. This is the ta-da moment. I'm going to take this lip and I'm just going to lift it ever so slightly, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go from the right. Then I'm going to come from the left. And I'm just going to keep doing that. This is nice at the top. It gives everybody a little peek into what they're getting. So if you decide to make a sweet one and a savory one, you know which is which. Do you see how I'm doing this? Am I doing it too fast? I'm just pulling one from each side. Do you see how easy that is?
Very, very easy. And I see you're overlapping the ends. Is that?
Yep, that's exactly how you get that braided effect. You're just putting them one over the other, which is why I keep pulling from each side. When she showed me how to do this, I was like, my goodness, like all those beautiful Danish that you see in the bakery. And this is how they do it.
So I'm curious about the dough that you have for the savory one. Is it ingredients different than if you were making a sweet Danish?
Nope. All she does with the sweet is she adds a little bit of sugar to the dough. That's it. And if you don't add the sugar to the dough and you just want to use up one dough that you have from the 3 that you made, that's fine. All right, I'm getting to the end here. I'm going to just pull this a little bit, do my last one, and then same thing. I'm going to tuck it up just like that. So guys, I was a little nervous about this demo, but I think it came out very nice.
It looks very nice.
All right, now, finishing touch here. I got my egg wash. And this is obviously just to get that lovely glazed effect in the oven. I'm telling you, you bring this to your next, now that we're finally starting to see our friends, which is so exciting. I'm so glad that we're doing this one because you need to bring this to the next, the first dinner party post-COVID. You will be the talk of the evening. And then just tell everyone that you got it from my book and they have to buy my book.
That's right. Don't forget, always say Heirloom Kitchen. They can get their copy either at the library, they can check it out, or they can get it at Elm Street Books.
That's right. I love the ladies at Elm Street Books. They always have plenty of my book on hand and it's always signed copies. All right, then I get some Maldon salt. Love Maldon salt. Or large flake salt, or honestly, even some kosher. I just think that the Maldon adds a beautiful effect to the dough. And then what I love, and again, just makes this totally scream Eastern European, is the caraway seeds. Look at that. If you're making the sweet one, I would use some turbinado or some raw sugar on top. And you could even put a little salt. It's nice to have a little salt in your sweets. All right, guys. I'm going to come around and see how this looks, but I think we did a great job here today.
Very, very nice. So your oven has been preheated at what?
So we're going to preheat that oven at 375 degrees. And we're going to put it in for 35 minutes. I think I took mine out at 33. You can also par bake it. Let's say you want to, serve it in like an hour and you want to heat it up. This is what you're going to get. Look at that. The magic of television, the swap out.
Beautiful.
So see, even if I did make a little bit of an error along the way, or, look how beautifully that comes out.
And so you don't have to cinch those ends together at all. You don't need to touch them with water to make sure.
No, the dough has the butter is just the glue of this. The butter really just puts it all together for you. And then as you can see, all I did was fold these up and they just stayed beautifully. And that's it.
Beautiful.
I mean, we really got this done. And see here, there's my living room, everybody.
Oh, nice living room.
I know. Good thing I cleaned today. I didn't realize we're going to be showing everything. But anyway, no.
Tell you, Anna, I want to tell you, someone in the chat has said, I love your book. After seeing how easy your Chinese dumplings were, I'm trying to make them, and I found my Italian pasta maker was a big help with rolling thin the dumpling dough.
Yes. Yes, that's a great thing to do. You're going to get a nice thin dumpling dough. I will tell you, a lot of times when I'm making the dumplings for a demo, I will cheat and do that too, just because I need to make a whole bunch and have them ready to go. I use my pasta maker for everything. Even my cannoli shells. I throw them through the pasta maker, get them perfectly thin, uniform. I love it. So that's a great tip. Thank you for that. And I'm glad you bought my book and that you liked it. That's the biggest compliment.
So someone was asking what is on top, and that was just straight caraway seed, right?
Yeah, caraway seeds. And actually, since you folks just love wraps, I got these caraway seeds at a place called Yaranoush. It's in Westchester. It's Yaranush. If you like Middle Eastern food, this store is a gem. I haven't been there actually since from before COVID, but it's fantastic. So definitely check them out. I want to say White Plains or Mamaroneck. I could be wrong. It's been a while. But yes, I love that store. So nice. There's a great little Italian deli. Okay, I will hold that up again.
Yeah. Yaranoush. There it is. Okay, Yaranoush. I'm getting it into the chat. And you get it somewhere in Westchester.
Yeah, it looks like they have a website. It's right on the thing, yaranoush.com. So you can just go ahead and check them out. But no, this was a pleasure, and it was a pleasure doing this. I'm so glad we got to do this together, kind of help us get through the monotony of being home, right? But
well, certainly everyone's been cooking a lot, because what can we do when we're all stuck inside? So
yes.
I know that this weather is coming up. I guess we'll have to do some barbecue or some kind of I'm getting up. So everyone, I want you to know, all the attendees, that we do have, this is Anna's last with us. She has given us 3 wonderful Cooking with Anna shows. And we are going to continue this cooking with, and I have our librarian, Sam Connell, will be coming in June. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. She'll be preparing, but Anna has started us off on a cooking show kind of thing in the morning, and we thank her very much, and we're going to continue with it with Sam. So,
great.
So Anna, thank you so much. Good
My
luck
pleasure.
Summer and the heirloom cooking. Are you making another cookbook by any chance?
I'm working on one right now. I'm still in the preparatory stages of it, but hopefully in the next 2 years, I will be venturing into another cookbook. So
fantastic.
Excited to see the prospect of that, working on the proposal. So still very early.
Oh, good. We look forward to it. All right.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a pleasure. I'm so glad we got to do this. And like I said, feel free to reach out when you're ready to do some in-person stuff. I'd love to do that.
And just to let everyone know, this is recorded. So if you missed anything or you want to review, probably we'll have it up on the library YouTube channel in about 2 days. So, but if you don't see it, just give us a call. We can steer you to it. All her other cooking shows are there as well, that the other 2 that she did with us.
And my Instagram, at Anna F. Gass, I have a video up right now of this, and tomorrow I'm going to post an even longer video of just the entire process. So if you just need a quick how-to on how to do that braiding, it's on my Instagram right now.
Fantastic.
All right, Laura.
Thank you.
Folks, have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Thank
Bye
you
now.
everyone for attending. We'll see you next month.